YouTube, what's going on? We got the 6 most disturbing moments caught on TV. Let's get into this video. Let's do it. I hope y'all having a great
June
day.
2025, a reporter named Linildo Frazão went live from the Miriam River in Brazil to cover a tragic incident that happened there just a day earlier. In the early hours of June 29, a group of teenagers had decided to go for a swim in the river. Unfortunately, they underestimated its depth, resulting in the disappearance of 13-year-old Raíssa Fernandes. Seconds after entering the water, her friends watched her dip beneath the surface, and that was the last time anyone saw her alive. Divers looked for her underwater, while rescuers scoured the riverbank, hoping she might have washed ashore somewhere. But even after hours of searching, Raíssa was nowhere to be found. Linildo intended to use this broadcast as an opportunity to educate viewers on the dangers of river currents and general river safety, not knowing that he was about to solve the mystery of Raíssa's disappearance on live TV. He took off his shoes and started slowly walking into the river while talking about the sudden increase in depth and how dangerous it can be for inexperienced swimmers.
Quanto mais você desce, mais fundo fica.
That's part of why I'm not swimming in no lakes, bro, because like he said, the depth, bro, it's like it go from right there, feet level, you standing up, to knee level, then you underneath the water, bro. And they just get deeper and deeper, and ain't no and all the shit that's inside of the fucking lake, bro. Fuck no, bro. Alligators and shit, man. I'm good, bro. I'm not getting in there with that. But let's keep going.
Ó, aqui, ó. Até que aqui é de boa, mas só que é uma descida. Aqui onde ela se afogou, gente, é uma descida. Pra você ver aqui, ó, o tanto que eu passei aqui, daqui dá mais ou menos uns 2,5 metros.
Oh my goodness.
Ó, e quanto mais você anda, ó a diferença aqui já onde eu estou agora, ó. Então, pessoal, e ainda tem a correnteza. Aqui já, olha, ó, um passinho para frente, a água já está praticamente me cobrindo. Então, o risco aqui é muito grande, é muito grande.
However, nothing could have prepared him for what he was about to encounter just seconds later.
Ó a fundura aqui, ó. Ui.
He stepped dead on her, bro. You can right there. He like, bro, it's something right there, bro. Something right there, boy. I stepped on something. Look at it, boy. He's scared. He running out that motherfucker.
Eu acho que tinha um negócio aqui no fundo da água. Não, era mole.
Ooh, that gotta be horrifying, bro.
Será que não é ela, não?
While trying to demonstrate the river's deceptive drop-off, Linildo accidentally stepped on something lying on the riverbed. It was too soft and organic feeling to be a rock or a submerged log, which caught him off guard. The murky water made it impossible to see beneath the surface. But Linildo was starting to realize what it could be, leaving him too disturbed to go back and investigate further. He got out of the water and contacted authorities immediately. And it wasn't long before divers recovered the remains of Raíssa from that exact spot. Later,
rest in peace to her, bro. Could you imagine, like, you doing an interview, like not an interview, but like you basically giving the news about how dangerous it is, and you just run up on exactly the person they're looking for. It was meant for her to be found in that moment, but it's just like, dang, bro. Drowning got to be one of the worst ways to go out, because like you drowning, so you're scared. Then eventually you lose oxygen, you pass out, and you finished. But damn, bro.
Autopsy report confirmed that there was no foul play involved. What happened to her was nothing more than a tragic accident.
Dang. Rest in peace.
On September 25, 2025, the CBS 6 station in Albany, New York received a strange email with a 2-page document. It contained a nearly incomprehensible rant featuring Arnold Schwarzenegger.
The most important law in America is teaches that people may resume the powers of government whenever it is necessary to their happiness. Our happiness is law. This law is what's best for the community.
Kicks centuries-old laws and a proposal to create a board of trustees with prosecutorial immunity. However, the most important aspect of this document wasn't its content. Instead, the reason it stood out among the hundreds of emails the channel received every day was its author, 53-year-old Lawrence Krauss, who also included a selfie alongside the document. You see, Lawrence was currently under investigation for
look at this nigga, boy. He look like he do bad shit. Like he sit in his room and he talk to himself. He be like, I'm gonna show these motherfuckers. I'm gonna rip their fucking I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna rip their heads off their fucking bodies in GTA and take my time, put it in their eyes. You know what I'm saying? Like, he just gonna do some crazy shit to these niggas, man. But he look like he do wild things. Like he do wild shit.
A selfie alongside the document. You see, Lawrence was currently under investigation for ending the lives of his own parents and getting away with it for over 8 years.
I told y'all niggas he do crazy shit. That's proof right now. He do crazy shit. The nigga done took his parents out. Under investigation for taking your parents out, brother? Why are you free? You know what I'm saying? This nigga shouldn't be really out jail. He out here, he killed his fucking parents. Fuck!
And in August 2017, his 86-year-old father and 83-year-old mother were living out their retirement in their home in Crestwood Court in Albany, New York.
That's crazy.
And suddenly, they were gone without a trace. None of the neighbors saw them leaving or heard anything about where they were going. Their house was also left abandoned, with Lawrence only visiting it occasionally to collect mail, mow the lawn, and clear the snow. When asked about his parents, he claimed that they had moved back to Germany and won't be coming back. The neighbors had no reason to distrust Lawrence, so no one questioned their absence, and life went on as usual. A distant relative even requested a welfare check in 2020. By it, the neighbors repeated the same explanation Lawrence had given, ending the officer's questioning without any further suspicion.
Dang.
It wasn't until mid-2025 that the Albany police became aware of something shady going on with the Krause family. Someone had been collecting Lawrence's parents' social security payments, even though the two hadn't been seen in years. This resulted in the police launching a formal investigation, and after months, finally executing a search warrant at the Krause home on September 23rd. Over the next 48 hours, detectives collected thousands of financial documents and other evidence. More importantly, they discovered the remains of Lawrence's parents buried in the backyard. Lawrence likely knew that he was the prime suspect in this case, but instead of turning himself in or trying to run away, he made the unusual decision of sending this document to the local news network alongside his contact information. One of the directors at CBS 6 was familiar with the Krause case and immediately jumped at the opportunity to interview Lawrence. After giving him a call, Lawrence claimed that he was willing to do a live interview with the channel only if they published his document on the internet for everyone to see. The network agreed.
Look at this nigga, boy. He looks strange. Like, and then you take your parents out to get the money, bruh. Like, come on, bruh. Like, how low of a human being can you be? Like, this shit, it goddamn. That's why his head look like it look right now. God knew, bruh. Like, he gonna do something bad, bruh. I gotta make him pay in some way. He gonna pay. That's why he look like how he look, bro. And no offense to anybody that, you know, may have the same issue or same thing going on. I'm not saying you like that. I'm just saying this person, this prototype of a person specifically is going through this shit like this right here because he do bad shit. You know what I'm saying? Look at his damn knees. Fuck that nigga knees. Fuck that nigga knees. Bitch ass knees. Both his knees. His left knee and his right knee. Fuck them motherfuckers, man.
And less than an hour later, Lawrence was sitting with a CBS 6 reporter for a live interview. Lawrence was a bit hesitant at first, but after some pressure, he cracked and confessed to everything.
Damn.
I want to hear from you.
Yeah.
What did you do to your parents?
I buried them in their property.
You buried them in the backyard.
How he just sitting there talking about this shit in the open? The nigga just admitted. Get the police.
Of that house in Albany.
Right.
When it actually happened, when your parents died, did they know it was happening to them?
Oh, yeah.
And they knew it was at your hand?
Well, yes, no one else's.
Right. So they realized what you were doing to them as it happened.
Yes.
They knew that this was it for them, that they were perishing at your hand.
Yes. And it was so quick.
How did you do it?
Yeah, I can't talk about that.
Well, you've just told us that
Right.
it was at your hand.
Right.
Were there drugs involved? Was
No.
there a suffocation? You suffocated them?
This is a fucking disgusting, vile human being that don't even deserve to be called a human being. The people that brought you in this world gave you life, and you choose to do that to them. Like, what be going on, bro? Like, I don't get it, bro. Like, he's terrible, bro. That nigga got 3 kneecaps. One on his fucking head. Like, you see what I'm saying? Like, this shit don't make no sense, bro. Vile ass human being, bro.
You suffocated your parents.
Yeah.
What made this confession so disturbing, however, was the way Lorenz tried to portray it as something righteous. His argument essentially boiled down to, my parents were suffering from old age, so I did them a favor. Even though the neighbors described the couple as elderly, they were by no means sick or bedridden. They had normal routines where they tended to their garden, shared mint leaves with neighbors' kids, and listened to Polish music every day. Their lives weren't nearly as miserable as Lorenz tried to portray during this interview. Now, it's unclear if he's severely mentally ill and genuinely believed everything he was saying, or if this interview was his way of trying to paint himself as the concerned son to earn the public's favor before his inevitable arrest. In either case, he had no way of escaping the consequences of his heart.
Thank y'all. Oh, look at the back of it. Cut this shit off. I don't understand this shit, man. At a certain point, it's time to let the shit go. It's just time to let the shit go at a certain point, man. Why the fuck you holding on to this? All this shit gone. And you hold on to the back. What the fuck you got a shag, nigga? Send this nigga to jail.
Actions. He was arrested immediately after walking out of the network's building and is currently awaiting trial for the death of his parents.
Nasty ass head.
On the night of October 28, 2023, the Utilita Arena in Sheffield, England was packed with over 8,000 spectators. They were there to watch the ice hockey match between the Nottingham Panthers and the Sheffield Steelers. The whole thing was also being broadcast live on TV for fans across the world, and the match started off completely normal. The first period ended without either team scoring a point.
Damn!
About 35 minutes later, the score was 4-2 in favor of the Sheffield Steelers. The Panthers needed to score soon if they wanted to make a comeback. So, one of their more renowned players, Adam Johnson, got a hold of the puck and started pushing into the Steelers' defensive zone. But before he could reach the goal, the match got interrupted by one of the most tragic incidents in ice hockey history. As Adam was making his way to the goal, a different player of his team bumped into Matt Petgrave of the Steelers. This resulted in Matt getting launched in the air and slicing Adam's neck with one of his skates. For those who don't know, professional hockey skates are sharpened to a razor's edge, so it took very little force to leave a deep laceration across Adam's neck, causing him to bleed profusely in front of both the live crowd and the TV audience. Medics at the arena tried to stop the bleeding, but the cut was too deep. He had already lost a lot of blood on the ice. Adam was then rushed to a nearby hospital. Unfortunately, despite going into surgery as quickly as possible, Adam couldn't survive the injury and passed away just hours later.
That is so sad, bro. That's why I will never, I want to go ski, but bro, that's probably why I'm not doing that jump, bro. Because you are literally sliding on ice with weapons. And then my ass already a little uncoordinated as it is. I fuck around, be sliding on the ice and shit and fuck around, slip my left leg, wrap around my fucking head, and I somehow slice my shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's so much factors that can happen. A lot of random shit be happening, man. I have a lot of random shit happen to me, and that's probably one of them random things just out of nowhere. I'ma fuck around and fall, and somehow my fucking legs wrap around my head, and I get finished like that. I cut my damn ears off or something with the shoes, nigga. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can't. No, man. Hell no, man. Hell no, I can't do it.
Matt was arrested shortly after on suspicion that he had cut Adam on purpose. However,
what the fuck? Is it cause is it cause of this? Is it cause of this? It's
later,
on live television.
Matt was arrested shortly.
Is it cause of this? Nigga, it's on live television. You have proof. This nigga got bumped and flipped. He got bumped. What the fuck? That's crazy. Rest in peace.
Shortly after on suspicion that he had cut Adam on purpose.
What?
However, investigators found no foul play in Adam's death and ultimately ruled it a tragic accident. The only silver lining in this entire case is that it resulted in the English Ice Hockey Association making neck guards mandatory for all players, something that would have likely prevented this from happening altogether. But at the time, wearing this protective gear was only a suggestion.
Nah, it ain't no suggestion for me, boy. Hey, bro, put this on your neck. It's gonna protect you. If you fall, somebody might slice your shit. You might be done. Rest in peace to him, man. I would have wore that neck gear no matter what.
On the evening of September 2, 2011, TVN, one of the biggest networks in Chile, was airing the latest episode of a show called Calle 7. It was a live game show where teams competed in various challenges to make their way to the top, and this weekend's episode was supposed to be no different. But things took a disturbing turn about halfway through the episode when the show's host interrupted the competitors seemingly out of nowhere and told them to stop.
Que paren la competencia. Quiero que paren la competencia, por favor. Nos acaba de llegar una información muy difícil de entregar. No habíamos querido decir nada antes de chequear bien lo que estaba sucediendo porque compromete a personajes del canal, a personas muy queridas, a un equipo del canal, entre ellos Felipe Camiroaga y Roberto Bruce, que también estaba en aquel vuelo a la isla de Juan Fernández, según tengo entendido. Esa información que nos está llegando en este momento. El Ministerio de Defensa informó esta tarde el presidente de la República que un equipo de TVN iba al borde de una nave de la Fuerza Aérea de Chile que capotó en el archipiélago de Juan Fernández.
Damn.
However, the reason for this interruption had nothing to do with the show itself. The host was talking about the C-212 Chilean Air Force plane that departed from the Arturo Merino Benitez International Airport earlier that day at around 2 p.m. It was headed for the Robinson Crusoe Airport, located hundreds of miles off the coast of Chile. Aboard was a full TV crew from the network, including the two renowned presenters, Felipe Camiroaga and Roberto Bruce. They were visiting Robinson Crusoe Island to report on the reconstruction after the 2010 earthquake. The flight started without a hitch. Unfortunately, as they were approaching the runway, the wind became extremely strong, making it impossible to land. The pilot tried to land a couple of times, circling in the air after each attempt. However, on the third attempt, witnesses saw the plane lose altitude much faster than expected and crash into the ocean just a mile from the island. By the time rescuers reached the crash site, it was already too late. All 21 people aboard the C-212 plane had passed away.
Damn.
But while investigators initially believed that all of those deaths were due to the impact of the crash, the reality...
Dang, rest in peace to them, bro. Could you imagine? That's also a scary ass thing to think about, bro. Being on a plane, like, bro, I've never ever been on a plane in my life, like, ever. But being on a plane, and just so happened that mug finna crash, like, the final moments before the plane crashes, you just gotta, like, I wonder just how they was, like, I don't want to know, but, like, just that feeling you got, like, bro, it's all over with, like, it's over, bro. That gotta be the scariest feeling in the world, man. That shit crazy. I probably would have passed out. I would just pray. You gotta pray to pass out before y'all even hit the ground, because at least then you won't feel all the pain. You know what I'm saying? Rest in peace to these people, man.
They turned out to be far darker. As they were searching the wreckage, they found footage that one of the cameramen took of the interior shortly before the crash. The footage showed the passengers strapped into their seats, completely unaware of their fate. But the more haunting discovery happened when investigators found an SD card inside an empty water bottle floating near the crash site. This card contained hundreds of images. However, analysis of these images showed that 2 of them were taken after the crash, including one of the plane's windows covered in water. These images put the crash into a whole new perspective. They showed that several passengers, including the cameraman who took these photos and preserved the SD card in the bottle, likely survived the initial crash. Sadly, they were trapped inside a rapidly sinking plane with no way out, forced to watch their aircraft fill up with water until there was no air left to breathe.
Bro, you literally survived the crash, bro. It's like, dang, and that water you looking at, that's in the middle of the ocean, in the middle of nowhere probably, bro. Literally survived the crash and knowing like, bro, I lived, but I'm still gonna pass away from drowning. Damn, bro. That's crazy, bro. That right there, bruh. Fuck with the heart, boy. You be in that mud like, damn. Just being in that moment. If you putting yourself in that picture, like putting yourself behind that video, like you're the one taking this video, like looking at this, seeing this, like this is the end. Like this, all you can see is this water rising. You're in the middle of the ocean. You made it, but you know you're finna leave still. It's like, that's terrifying. That's terrifying, bro.
Niagara Falls is widely regarded as one of the world's most breathtaking natural wonders. However, while the surface is undeniably beautiful, the depths beneath the falls hide the disturbing history of many who lost their lives to the currents. One such incident was captured live on TV on May 30, 1985, when reporter Phil Kavitz was hosting a section about real estate in front of the falls. Suddenly, in the background, the camera captured a man caught in the current behind Phil. The rushing water carried him to the edge of the falls before throwing him over the 170-foot drop. And while a lucky few have survived the fall from the Niagara Falls, he wasn't one of them. The treacherous terrain under the falls also made it difficult to retrieve his remains. Once recovered, investigators identified the man as 56-year-old Robert Arends and concluded that the act was deliberate. However, Robert was only one of the 5,000 bodies that have been recovered from the foot of the falls in the last 175 years. Many of these 5,000 deaths were intentional, but there were a lot that weren't. And unfortunately, surviving a fall from Niagara Falls is near impossible. Once you fall in, the cold water makes it extremely difficult to breathe, making it even more challenging to swim to the surface. The water near the edge can also move at over 60 miles per hour, adding another layer of difficulty to an already impossible challenge. But the jagged rocks at the base of the falls is what marks the end for most people.
Fam, I am not. That's why shit like that, Niagara Falls, I view from afar like this. I'm like, oh man, that's beautiful, man. I'm not finna be like, oh man, I gotta experience this even more. Let me step in this shit so I can really see and feel this shit. No, sir. I'm good. I'm gonna look from a distance. I'm like, that's some beautiful shit. I'm gonna take a couple pictures. You know what I'm saying? And I'm taking my black ass home. No, indeed. Or back to the hotel or wherever I'm at if I'm visiting at that time. You know what I'm saying? Like, back to the hotel or back to the B&B, nigga. Fuck that, nigga. Fuck that, nigga. No. Hell no. Hell no. I love to see it, not be in it.
On the 23rd of August 2010 at around 10 a.m., 21 tourists from Hong Kong returned to their tour bus after visiting the historic Fort Santiago in Manila, Philippines. They were also accompanied by 3 Filipino tour guides, and the trip had been going fantastic so far. But just as they were about to set out to the next location, they got interrupted by a middle-aged man in a police uniform. He was openly carrying multiple firearms, and his demeanor made it clear he wasn't afraid to use them either, something that became even more apparent as time went on. For now, things started off fairly calm, with him asking the driver for a ride to the next station. The bus driver tried to reject the request respectfully, explaining that he couldn't let him on because it was a private vehicle, not a public bus. However, the man wasn't having any of it. As soon as the bus driver rejected his request, he equipped one of his firearms and claimed that he was taking the bus hostage. This was 55-year-old Rolando Mendoza, a police officer with nearly 30 years of service. But he'd recently been fired over drug charges that Rolando claimed were untrue. Getting fired left him with no pension after 3 decades of hard work. And
he kept everybody hostage on the bus, not letting them leave. I think eventually I'm gonna let y'all see it. I'm not gonna spoil it, but bro, I think I've seen this.
While he tried to fight for his job through official means, his superiors wouldn't listen. In an act of desperation and defiance, Rolando took this bus full of tourists hostage and presented a single demand. He wanted his job back. The situation so far looked fairly manageable, with 2 of his former colleagues establishing communications without any pushback. They were even able to convince him to release a few of the hostages. Granting his relatively simple demand would have been easy, but what followed was one of the biggest hostage disasters in the country's history, all because those in charge couldn't agree on the next move. Things started going downhill when Rolando's brother tried to approach the bus and was immediately detained by the officers. This made the already furious Rolando even angrier and more unstable. The situation only got worse once the media got involved. Nearly every news channel in the country started broadcasting the situation live. They talked about everything, including the plans officials were making outside. What they didn't know, however, was that the bus had a working TV and Rolando was watching and listening in on everything. This could have helped him formulate a plan and get what he wanted without hurting anyone. Unfortunately, the lackluster response from the officials made a peaceful resolution near impossible. His anger reached a boiling point when he saw how his brother was being treated by the police on live TV. This resulted in Rolando getting blinded by rage and opening fire on the hostages.
Bruh, that's handling shit terribly makes bad shit go worse. Like, in serious situations, you gotta keep that shit. In serious situations, you gotta keep things as calm as possible. If you can manage to somehow keep things as calm as possible, everything will play smoothly. Not all the time, because there is always the X factor that plays a part in that. But in the same sense, this could have been handled in a far better way. Like, come on, bro. You got this man brother in handcuffs. He mad, he irate. And he think it's not only, he's like, bro, it's my fault he in handcuffs, because if I wasn't doing this, he wouldn't even have to be here. But now he enraged, like, bro, you got my brother. They fired me for nothing. oh, I'm finna get my get back because you did me the worst way. And that don't do nothing but start that enrages somebody, and then this happens.
At the same time, the bus driver managed to free himself from the handcuffs Rolando put him in and escape through the driver's side door. Unfortunately, while he was able to remain unharmed, other hostages weren't as lucky, since, according to the bus driver, they were all dead, leaving Rolando alone in the bus. This revelation gave authorities the go-ahead to surround the bus and try to break in without any more casualties. But Rolando wasn't willing to go down without a fight. As soon as they tried to enter through the emergency exit, Rolando opened fire, hitting one officer on his bulletproof helmet and barely missing the others. So the officers thought of a different strategy. They flooded the back of the bus with tear gas, forcing him to the front, right into the crosshairs of a sniper, finally ending the hostage crisis. It wasn't until after his death that police realized the bus driver had misunderstood the situation and that 9 of the hostages were still alive. The massive loss of innocent lives broadcast live for the world to see, coupled with officials making wrong decisions at every turn, drew intense global scrutiny, marking this as one of the worst and most tragic incidents in Filipino history.
Man. Bruh, what do y'all think about that, bro? What do y'all think about that? That is insane. So much stuff could have been prevented in that situation, bro. What do you feel like was like the most shocking out of all these videos, bro? Out of all 6 of the videos, what you think was the most shocking, man? If y'all came and chilled with me to watch this stuff today, I appreciate y'all coming. I'm gonna make more videos if y'all really enjoy these videos. Whoever watching, yeah, man. Thank y'all. Leave me a like, comment, and subscribe. Tell me that what 6 out of all the videos, which one was the most craziest to you. And you know, just subscribe to the channel. Come back and come see me again. I'll see y'all in the next one, bro. I'm out this thing, bro. Bye.